Really awesome stuff here today. We're going to be talking about how you can grow mass volumes on one plant. Now, obviously, this can be put to one plant to the next, but to give you an idea and a concept of how to do this right from the beginning. And we're going to start at the humble seed because that's the element to it all. And towards the end, and small breaks through, we're going to have some Q&As and things, bring the questions and comments across from the people who are attending this show and really kick it off. And if you've got any other questions that sort of aren't unrelated to this, just keep them more towards the end, and I'm happy to do that. We run the show for half an hour, 30 minutes, and we had one yesterday, Ask Marty Anything. And yeah, it was a great show and some awesome questions. But today, I've got the microphone set up. We've got a little bit of a better studio going on, slowly working on getting it better all the time. And super stoked to be here. Now, let's get straight into the content first, because we want to look at how do we do this? How do we grow mass harvests or big plants that produce a lot of food or a lot of fruit starting right from the very beginning? Well, what it comes down to is we have to have a good quality seed at first. If we have a bad seed and the seed hasn't come from good genetics, then we don't know what we're going to get. It's a bit like a lottery prize. So it's really important to get good quality seed to start off with. And if you can harvest and grow your own seed locally, which gets more used to the area, then you're doing even better. Now, I know that's not possible for everyone, but having a good quality seed is very important. Now, why is it very important? Because seeds store fats, and fats are a form of energy. And when we eat certain foods that have got fats in them, such as avocados, different types of meats, nuts, and things like that, we're getting that energy from the good fats. Seeds are doing the same, because when they're germinating, they just need warmth and water to get started. Once they get started, they're going to throw out a root. And why they're throwing out that root to get ready to settle themselves in, they're using the fats from around the outside of the seed. Now, a good quality seed will have great fats around the outside of it and help with a really good life cycle of the plant. Now, once the plant has then started getting its roots down into the ground or into our potting media, our seedling mix, this is when the magic starts to happen. So anyway, let's pull across. We've got some chats here, I'm sure. We've got some crew turned up here. We got DJ turned up. Hey, DJ, how you going? And Aaron here. Thank you, Aaron. Great to see you here. And I'm sure some more people will pop in soon into the show. So the next part, I've taken a few little notes here. A lot of this knowledge is in my head because I've been doing it over and over for so many years now. And if you're following this system, I teach actually how to grow raised seedlings in the Worm Wranglers members area on the YouTube channel. And we're going to do an update one of that in the community area, which I believe will be much better. But that's down the line somewhere. This one, we're talking about maximizing production on your plants and getting optimum health. So it's all about starting optimum health right from the very beginning, which is super important, because if the plant gets a good start and it's healthy, it's going to produce a really good, strong cell wall. And that's what we want. We want a nice, strong cell wall at the start. Now, by using good quality composts and worm casts and a worm liquid coming out of the worm farm. Now, if you don't have those things, you really want to go for a good quality compost and mix it with a seed raising mix, such as a good quality cocoa fiber or something like that with your compost and a little bit of worm casting. You're giving the plant the best opportunity. The reason why we want to have the compost and the castings around a friable medium is because we want the roots not only growing and getting quite large and moving through the medium, but we want them to actually start connecting to that microbial good bacteria, and hopefully down the line some fungi and things like that, so it can actually feed the sugars and the feeding. Everything all starts pretty early. Now, when the roots are growing down and they grab a bit of, say, some of the worm casting, well, it will attach onto that, and the worm casting will pump like a little pump, and it will give the slow release fertilizer to the plant. It doesn't burn the roots in any way because it's pH neutral, and it feeds the plant, but also it protects the root zone from nematodes. So nematodes won't come near anything that's got worm castings around it. So a nematode is something like a little eelworm, and it'll come through and chew the end of the root, and it couldn't really hurt the plant. And it attacks a lot of things like tomatoes and things like that that have got really anaerobic and poor soil conditions. So we're giving them a really great head start by doing that, and giving our plant a really good head start. It means huger harvests towards the end. So if you're coming in a little bit later after that, yeah, we are producing this show about creating bigger harvests and more productive plants, and talking about how we can do that. So we've got Aaron's got a comment here again. What is it called when after many years of growing your own seeds, they acclimatise to your specific area? Is it landrace or something else? I've been trying to remember that. It's been trying to it's like acclimatized to that area, but there is another name for it. If someone can come up with it in the comments box down below, if they're watching the show later on, or if they know now in here, then you can Google it or something and let us know, and I'll pull it across, because I literally can't remember, but I know that it works great when you can acclimatize plants to your local zone and space, and it does help over time. There's no doubt about that. Right, so the next part, we're talking about the seedlings. And so we've discussed about having a good quality seed, having the right fats in there, the warmth and water. And also something I forgot to mention in that, we really want to work with an on-season plant. We don't want to go with off-season. We want to get the most maximum production. We need to be working right on season. And we want to choose a crop that we are familiar with, that we like to eat, that will be productive in the garden, that will go a long way and will be consumed a lot. Because if we're not using it all, we can actually go, oh, it's just going to waste. And it sort of creates this disharmony with ourselves of that sort of thing. It's like watching a good story and at the end's got a bad ending. We want to really be able to maximize. And so that's why I've got this, we can't see them yet. They're absolutely tiny, but I've got some little basils coming up here. And I'll just get rid of this. We can see that little bit better. Now you've got some little basil plants coming up here, and they're a hybrid, I believe, these ones that are grown for the markets that I get from places where you buy microgreens in huge bulk and stuff, and they produce a really big fat leaf. I absolutely love it, and it produces a lot of food, and I've been able to sell that as a crop over a period of time. And so that's going to be my my plant that I'm going to be producing and showing over the next few months, or the next few weeks, actually, as we go through, how I'm getting these plants to large volumes, lots of harvests coming off them. And basil is a great one for doing that, because we can use it in so many different things, from sauces, pastas, different types of mixes and all that type of thing. So we'll just keep rolling here with some people coming in. Jeff, Pepe, hey, g'day, mate. It's lovely to see you here. Thanks for popping in. If I get anyone's names wrong, please forgive me. I'll do the best I can. And we've got Terawara. Oh, yeah, hang on. Sorry. Here we go. People saying g'day to each other in here. That's all. And I was going to drag it across. Yeah, it sounds like it, but it isn't about this. But isn't that about soil? Okay, I'm sort of a little bit lost there on what maybe you guys are chatting amongst each other here. So if you've got anything that you'd like to add about seeds, good quality seeds, because this is really important, we're going to talk about this. Now, I am actually going to start for this month in the Marty's Garden Community Project. For this month, we're going to be working on production. So the production of growing like a healthy plant all the way through from seed right through to a producing plant. And we're going to be talking about that in the community area. I'm going to be creating content about that in there, and you'll be able to follow along with that. And also, if you want to come along the journey, you can get some type of seed and some type of plant going in there, and we can get in there and discuss and talk about it and make sure you get the best quality growth and impact and out of your plant. So if you want to choose a plant or a couple of plants and go into the community, Marty's Garden Community Project, where there'll be a link in the description, and join in there, become a part of that. That would be absolutely just brilliant to see that. And we've got hey, Jim. Jim's one of our founding members, actually. in the garden community here. And I just want to welcome people that have come in. So we've got so far up there yet. It's me at the top, and I'm the host for the show. We've got Cheryl Hauker, Terry Browning, Jim Fisher, DC, and Matt Miller. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for the support. And we are going to, if you want to get into it's not really a challenge or a workshop, I don't know how we put it, but we are going to be growing some plants together. And if you want to get into it, I'm going to be showing how I'm doing it. And I'm using the basil right from the very beginning for the maximum production month in there. And then behind the scenes, while I'm doing that, I'm working on some worm farming courses that are going to go into there a little bit later on. And we got green leaf gardening here. I finally made it to one of these. Yay. Oh, hello, mate. How you going there? How's your videos going? You getting a few out? All right. So we'll keep on rolling now. We got people coming in to watch the show. Now, if you want to add anything, as I said, about seeds, before we talk about getting them to the soil, I'd love to hear what you've got to say. And maybe a plant that you would like to think about growing this season, depending on where you are around the world. Maybe you can't at the moment. Maybe you want to do it indoors or outdoors, or, in the Southern Hemisphere. Obviously, we're getting ready. We're into it. We're growing already. So here's a good question from Aaron here. And Marty, what is the best way to store seeds for long term? Now, there's a few things to do with storing seeds. Now, generally, if you just store them average, they'll last 4 years. But if you can store them really well, they can last much longer than that. But what I like to do is I use those, those Barocca containers, the long ones that you get your Baroccas out of, your B vitamins tablets. They've got they're an aluminium funnel sort of thing, and they've got a really tight lid on them. And you can sort of put them into little plastic bags inside there or straight in there. And if you want to put a whole lot in there, you can put little plastic bags with labels and types. And that's what I like to use. Anything that's an airtight sort of container that doesn't let any light in, they're the best ones. Obviously, we're all a bit slack at times and do it different ways. But if you can store them away from light, and you don't want fluctuating heat too much, the lower the heat, the better. And some people will even put them in the fridge. So, that's my recommendations for that. And try to use them within, 4 years if you can. That's really cool. So we've got Greenleaf Gardening, young up and coming YouTuber. So the videos are going well. I have some plans for some long form videos. Good on you, mate. Great to see you here. And so we'll keep on rolling forward. Any more seeds questions? Because this next section we're getting into is, I've got to put it on here. Warmth and water we've covered. Okay, so getting them into the right medium. We've discussed about getting them into a good quality compost. I like to use like a cocoa fiber wood pulp that I mix it in with my compost and worm castings, and I raise them that way. Then I start bringing them out into the morning sun. Now, this is really important. If you don't have morning sun, you need to be able to shade them off somehow, because it just gets too hot for these seedlings. We need to sun harden them slowly. So sun hardening is all about releasing the seeds into the sun, more sun, just slowly, so they get used to it and they don't just whittle up and die pretty much. So less stress on the plant, the better. When we can do this, we just obviously get better results, and then we can move forward. So has anyone got any questions or something that they'd like to add to do with sun hardening or shading these plants off, bringing them out into the open after you've raised them up, or anything to do with the castings of the compost that we're actually planting them into? I'd love to hear. Maybe you've even got a tip that you would like to add. Would love to hear that also. If you've got anything that's not related to this, please wait to the end of the show, and then we'll put a big Q in front of it. If you've got a question anyway to do what we're talking about as we go through, put a Q in front of it as well so I can see. And we'll keep on rolling forward. So if you've got anything to do with sun hardening, something that you'd like to add, anything to do with raising seedlings as we're moving through, that you would like to add, any tips or questions, we can move forward to that. We are going live, so excuse me for the odd burp, or I have to blow my nose or something. That's how it is. All right, so we're going to keep moving forward. As I said before, we're working in the Marty's Garden Community Project. For this month, we're doing maximizing on how to grow healthy plants from the start. And you can follow me along inside the communities area, and you can add your own pieces in there, and I'll get in and comment, and we'll all get involved in growing these plants together to get the best possible yields into the season. And if you're not interested in that, or you can't do that just yet, let's say not interested, you can't do that just yet, go in and learn anyway, because there's going to be so much that you can learn from this as people apply this into the members area. Okay, let's keep moving forward here with the questions. Marty, can you sprout seeds in 100% worm casting? I've done this, I've trialed it, and I actually made a whole video on this. You can do it, but my honest opinion, it's a waste of worm cast. And, you know, like you do see seeds sprout a lot in worm farms, right? Because the seeds, worms don't eat the seeds. Unless they're rotten and exposed and breaking down, then they'll eat the material, because yes, they just don't eat them. So they come, you know, they sprout up and they do produce really, really very good seeds. But a lot of the time that's still breaking down that compost inside, and it's not a full 100% casting. So what I recommend, and all the scientific method of things have proven that around about 10% is still the best around any root zone for a seedling or an older plant. So yeah, you can do it, but I wouldn't recommend it. You can actually just probably use some cocoa fiber and some cocoa peat or something like that, and then put worm castings there. But I've tried that, and I find that still the compost castings and the cocoa fiber, or some type of seed raising, organic seed raising mix that you've mixed in with that, works the best. And okay, some good questions here. And what is the best soil mix for germination? So what I'm using at the moment is the cocoa fiber peat wood fiber mix, and I'm using compost in it, and then I'm using the worm cast at 10%, and then I'm actually watering them with a very light worm tea. And this is what I'm going to be doing and showing in the members area as we're going through, and how I'm going to turn these little tiny basil plants that are just teeny at the moment into big monster plants, lots of harvests and things like that. So pretty excited about that. And obviously we'll be showing other things on the Marty's Garden channel and stuff like that as we go. So we've got, says, I have grown tomato seeds in castings. Yeah, as I said, it works really well. But the thing is, it's probably just a bit of a waste, because we don't need to use all that casting. And one thing I have done though is when it's sort of like in the material, it's sort of like 50% broken down, I've grabbed a handful of it out of the worm farm and just used that, just sprouted straight in that, and that's done really good as well. And so Greenleaf said he's seen that video, the one I'm talking about, the 100% castings. So yeah, I think it's a good way to go. Cool. Is peat better than cocoa? Well, it's a I don't know. From a sustainable point of view, I would say no. From a horticultural point of view, over history, it's better because they've been using it for a long time. And I think it's slightly acidic, peat. So it's better for some things like tomatoes and stuff like that. And yeah, but I don't think, if you've got compost and you've got worm cast, I really don't think you need just normal peat coming out of the peat places where they harvest it. But they have been doing in England, that's where they did it for years and years, and a lot of nurseries and things like that still use peat. I can still see it being sold up the road at the local co-op where I am. So if you're coming in a bit later on, we're talking about raising plants and turning one plant into a mega harvest. So far, we've spoken about the right seed to use, what to do with your seed, how to get your seed going up and going, where to place the seed with the sun hardening. And then, now we're going to talk about liquid fertilizers. If you've got anything that you'd like to add or a question, please feel free. No questions are regarded as silly or stupid. I'm here for everyone, and there's all different levels of people of gardening in here that want to learn how to grow their own food organically and know what they're putting on their kitchen plate at home, and enjoy that whole process while they're doing it. And so this type of video is very hard to do, other than just a live show talking. You just can't show all those steps unless you recorded it over months and months. And so anyway, that's why we're going to do it inside the community area, Marty's Garden Community Project, inside the community feed. Going to be running photos and little videos and little things showing these basil plants and how I'm growing them. Okay, to get maximum output on them. Okay, thank you. Here we go. Another one here. Thank you. I use altogether. Do you like vermiculite? Yeah, I like vermiculite. I think it's pretty good stuff. I prefer to use it like just on top when I put my seeds, the very small seeds, just a sprinkling over the top, and just as a cover mulch, and then spray a little water can on it. And that's what I teach in the Worm Wranglers members area here on the channel for that video, for raising seedlings. And it's a very good content. But as I said, we're going to be upgrading that into the community area eventually. So yeah, I really like it. I don't like mixing it so much in my material. I think there's just better methods now. It is organic, so if you can get it cheap or you've got it lying around, then yeah, I would keep using it. It says, is it good to use cocoa peat or cocoa in your worm bin? Use peat or cocoa. Look, both work really well. But as I said before, questions more towards the end. I won't be answering any more questions if it's not related until we get to the end, Greenleaf. Okay, so I can't, but I would go for cocoa peat at the start. Okay, Jim Fisher. Marty, it's getting closer to winter for us here in Ohio. What happens to a worm farm if it's outside and can get below 0 degrees? This is a tricky one, because I'm going to answer this because Jim's he's in our membership area and one of the founding members, and we're sort of, I think the best way to do it, and I don't have to deal with that too much, but cling wrap around the outside, that bubble wrap stuff that has little bubbles around the outside. I would wrap my worm farm in that. I'd make sure I've got 2 or 3 tiers on a worm farm, so there's lots of bulk, so it can't get as cold as quick and it can warm up. I'd be putting like a little bit more food scrap in there if they're hungry and still eating and not too cold. You could put, just be careful of gases and things like that if you're doing too much, because the gases are still going to get out. So lots of volume, and then I'd be putting a blanket around the outside of that bubble wrap, and I'd be putting in a spot where it's out of the cool breezes and it's got a steady temperature as much as possible. And you'll be right. You won't get frozen worms like our friend said here. You'll be right, Jim. I'm pretty sure you said you got them inside. So yeah, as long as there's not too much fluctuating of temperature on things. And do you know much about growing tons of tomatoes, potatoes? No, I don't, mate, really. We got some potatoes growing here. I've never really grown them much because they're so cheap, but Shirley, and I'm not a huge eater of them, but my wife Shirley loves them, so we're growing some this year, and we got them growing in compost up in the back corner. So yeah, if people are interested in that, we'll show them what's going on into the future. So let's keep moving forward. Now, you can use this method that I'm talking about here for any plant, including potatoes and things like this. All right, so liquids. Let's talk about liquids now. So we've raised our seedlings right through. We've sun hardened them. We're now slowly getting bigger. Right through this process, we can use liquids such as a seaweed mix. You can use fish emulsion. Just be careful when you're using the fish emulsion. Use a very, very weak one, only about 1/4 of what it says on the bottle. And if you can mix it with some seaweed and the fish emulsion together, that'll help get some minerals in there and different things and help the plant really settle in. Now, I do have seaweed most of the time. I don't have any at the moment. I've had some guano sent to me, which has some seaweed in it, occasionally using that, but pretty much we're just using the liquid out of the worm teas, the worm farms, as they get better and better all the time. We teach that again in the Worm Wranglers members area, and that's going to be going over new stuff going into the community, talking about how we can use these liquids to bring the plants up. And especially the liquids are really great right through the whole plant cycle. But at the start, because it has a nice, easy nitrogen that they can take up and access, the plant will really take off. And what we want to do is we want to use those liquids so it's just like a weak tea. It just looks like a weak tea that you wouldn't drink. So if you're getting it out of the farm, like I've been teaching you, not the leachate stuff where it's just dripping out slowly, like wetting the farm down. You've got a lot of castings in the system, and it's going through and you're grabbing the water in one go or just by the afternoon. And then you break it down to it's like a weak tea. Spray it onto the leaves, spray it up under the leaves if you can without clogging up the thing too much, sprayer too much, and also put it in the bottom of the tray so it's soaking it up. And that way the roots will be going down into the pot and getting a longer root system because it's going down to get that liquid. Just don't leave it sitting in the liquid too long so they rot. But you want the roots going down and expanding out. You can also water around the top with that liquid. So has anyone had good results with the worm teas? Love to hear what you think about that. And I'll keep answering the questions as we move through. Here we go. I was thinking hay bales around. Yeah, I think if you're outside, I think from memory, Jim said inside the members area, he's inside. So I think the bubble wrap's the way to go and get all the farms together as much as possible. And so there's less area for cold air to move around and things like that. I'd be bunching them right up. But that's a good point. If you can, if outside, if you can get some hay bales around them, and even like with the hay bales around, you can go quite high. You could also put a little greenhouse cover over the top with some type of old plastic or something just laying around, or an old greenhouse sheet or something, and you could lift it off, don't let it blow away in the wind, and get access to the farms as well. Okay, mate, awesome green fries with them, mate. Way to go. Like I said, I don't really grow them much, but we are this year. It says, should you dilute the worm leachate or use it straight? So I think I pretty much went through that answer just then. As I said, break it down so it's just a very light liquid, like a tea that you would hardly drink and that you wouldn't like drinking. And use rainwater if you can. If you can't use rainwater, you got town water, let the town water sit for about 24 hours before you mix it through. Now, you can use it straight. Very rarely burns things and stuff like that, but it's just better for it to go along further. And as your plant gets older, you can make it a little bit stronger, like up to like a tea that you would drink, so to speak. That would be better. Hey, you're very welcome, Jim. And please feel free to ask these questions also in the members area. Be great to hear them as well. But, you've probably got another question by then that you'd like us to answer. Okay, DJ, worm tea works better and faster than anything I've ever used. Yeah, and we can also, if we've got castings, also put the castings into a bucket, stir it up, get lots of oxygen into it, strain it that way. I don't really use the sock method anymore. I just put the castings straight in a bucket, I stir it up, and then I just pour it straight on the plants. That way, you can do the structured way of adding the molasses and really bubbling it up and building the microbes. And molasses feeds the microbes, a good bacteria, and then explodes it. But the thing is, when you put it down, a lot of that die when it goes in the soil as well. I just find that it's for me, it's just a bit of a waste of time. But other people do it, and they just love it. All right, Greenleaf, take care, mate, and good to see you here. Okay, so we're moving into the next section. We're talking about growing these amazing plants so you can get as much as you can. And we've spoken a lot has gone in here that's very hard to produce via video. And we're going to be showing, I'm going to be growing this little plant here, these little basils that have just come up, and showing you in the community Marty's Garden project how I'm doing that and how I'm going to get really big, good results from these plants. And you can come in and grow a plant as well and follow in along the community. That's going to be the whole drive for this for the community this month. And then I'm going to be building behind the scenes a worm farming course as well for beginners, and we're going to do intermediate. And if we need to, we might even go to some advanced stuff in there down the line if people want that and it's moving in that direction. All right, we've got another question or another comment by Aaron here. Now, Aaron's, yeah, he's hanging to get back into the garden again, mate. So wishing you all the best for that, and even end up in the surf, I believe. So yeah, I know. Yeah, you feel. I've got someone coming at 10:30, and we run this for nearly half an hour, so we're not going to go too much further than this. I've got someone coming to pick up some compost very soon. So half an hour is generally as much as we can fit in, and we'll keep carrying on with this this project that I'm working on in the members area, which you can find in the description down below. Lovely to have you come in there. Before we go, I'm just going to answer these. Any last questions that are here right in front of me? It says, what do you think about making compost tea by putting all sorts of plants in and fruit in a bucket of water for use as liquid fertilizer? I think it's a really great idea. Not so much into the fruit. I love compost, comfrey teas. I think that's really great. Another way is just get a whole lot of weeds and just let it sit for a while and just really oxygenate it up. But you know, like that's just one way to create it. The comfrey tea I really like, and as I said, I'm growing some comfrey now just for that, and also to help build up good soil profiles. Comfrey plays a big role in that, and yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, so we are going to finish up now, guys. We're in half an hour into it. I know that's a huge subject, pretty hard to cover in half an hour. If you're loving it, give me a thumbs up in there. Give me a question down below. And yeah, we're going to move into the community area of Marty's Garden Project and start talking about and work with you about growing a healthy plant from the beginning right through to as far as we can go. And just I'm stoked to do that. And I just want to thank all you that come in to watch the show today, everyone that's been supporting Marty's Gardens right through. We're keeping the channel going. It's not going to run away anywhere. Still doing that. We're just building the Marty's Garden community project so we can really dig deep and help people grow fresh food at home, so you know exactly what's on your table, and also to help you become more self-sufficient and just get better results in the garden as we speak. And yeah, DJ, thank you so much. God bless you. And she says, God bless you, brother, and all the best. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And says, good morning from South Africa. I know it's off topic, but can you replant garlic that came from plant who had bad garlic rust? No, anything that's got rust, just get rid of it. Start again from scratch. Sorry if I didn't have anything come through. If you've got a question, because I promised I would answer any questions at the end, you've been waiting, really apologize about that. If you've got any questions, we'll go for another 5 minutes and I will answer those before I head off. So anything unrelated to the topic today, you want to ask about organic gardening or worm farming, fire away. We will keep rolling. And my apologies, we've just got a lot of content to roll out today. So yeah, I'll have a quick little drink while I'm waiting for that. We'll be back again Saturday, same time, same channel. I'll be running some live shows through the week as well, similar time to this. Keep an eye out on the Marty's Garden channel, what time they're going to be coming out, because they will be coming out through the week in between sort of showers and gardening and all that type of stuff, and talking about what we're doing in the community as well, which is really awesome. So stoked you're very welcome. Thank you. Seems to be that's all the questions that we've got running through. If you've got any more, leave them in the comments box down below. Happy to help. Let me know if you like this looked a little bit better. I've got the lights and the sound going. Love to hear what your thoughts on as I get to work on producing this show much better. And so yeah, all right, have a great day. Happy gardening. God bless. And we'll see you in the next video real soon. Bye for now.